Good afternoon. Great to be here today. New week, new opportunity for our team to improve. We have a lot of growth and growth opportunities in front of us. Specifically from last week, excited to get to practice today to improve in those areas. There's a lot of football left and a lot of opportunities left for this football team to continue to grow and improve. And got a good quality opponent this week that we have to get ready for. Abilene Christian's 2-0 with wins over Lamar and Prairie View. Got a brand new head football coach and staff, Keith Patterson, who used to be the defensive coordinator at Texas Tech, Utah State, Arizona State, Tulsa, Pittsburgh, and several other places. Actually worked with Keith for a little over 6 weeks when we were together at Arkansas State at my first job. Their quarterback is a good player. He's got good command over their offense, does a nice job in their RPOs. He's only had 2 career starts and is obviously 2-0 and made the most of them. Defense is very multiple, lots of coverage, lots of pressures, lots of line movements, and have the ability to get in and out of a 3-down and 4-down front. So it's going to be a real challenge for our team, and excited to get with those guys. We had practice Sunday, and yesterday was our off day. Today we've already had lifts, and we'll be ready to roll at 1:45 for our team meeting. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Coach, getting back here, did you feel like that energy of, this is a new week, or was that kind of immediate energy that you felt in practice and lift this morning as well?
Yeah, I think, again, it's an opportunity for us to grow and, put the things that are behind us and move on to the future. And that's really all you can control. And so I think that's the focus of our team. Yeah.
Eli, I'm looking back over the film. Was there something consistent that you felt like held the offense back, or was it a lot more one thing here, one thing there?
Yeah, there was a lot of inconsistencies. It was a lot of not 11 people on the same page. And offensively, you got to have 11 people acting as one in order to be successful. And that starts with me finding a rhythm for the offense, and that's something that we can grow in and work on.
I know every individual kind of handles it differently. What's your sense for how Brady handles, the coming off a rough game and the criticism that comes with that, and how he kind of processes that the next few days?
Yep, praise and blame are all the same. Yeah, you can't get caught up either way. You can't read the message boards when they're good, and you can't read them when they're bad. The reality of it is he defines his own success by the standard that he performs and the standard that we perform as a team. And we were below that standard, but it doesn't have to define us. One game is not the season. And I think everybody this day and age is real quick to want to make snap judgments. And after a glimpse, we're 2 football games in. Had some really good, had some really bad. There's an old Bill Parcells quote that talks about, losers assemble in groups and complain. And I would add, get on Twitter and message boards and have all the answers. And winners assemble as a team and find ways to win. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to assemble as a team and find ways to win. And we're not going to focus on the toxicity or negativity. That has nothing to do with winning and won't produce any type of outcome for us that we want it to be. So our focus is, how do we circle up as a coaching staff, as a player, as a Mizzou football program, and find ways to win.
Watching film, was there anything that stuck out on the film that maybe didn't during the game?
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities for growth, and we addressed those yesterday, and now it's time to grow today and move on towards ACU.
When you look at that second half, what that defense was able to do, was there anything once you were able to look back at it that you liked what you saw in that second half?
On defense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought they ran to the fight in the third quarter, obviously got put in some bad situations, and played really hard, and were able to keep us in the game for as long as they possibly could. So, I thought there was a lot of positives. There's a lot of things to get corrected off the tape. Like I said, after the game, we started slow in all 3 phases, and it's an opportunity for us to grow this week and get better.
How important, and how do you kind of get the running game going?
There was a part in the game where we went 6 straight attempts without a run. 2 of them were RPOs that could have been runs, and so I think got to do a better job of getting that going, especially on the road. Has not been a problem in the past. Don't foresee that being a problem in the future. So that's that's something we get back to the identity of who we are and get better at it.
Do you feel like seem to be that the leadership, especially from the 8 captains, is really strong in this team. What have they been doing? What's their message to the team in this week?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were good Sunday, and they're going to be good today. I think their message is the same that I'm giving to you: a new week, new opportunity on an awful young season.
Eli, do you still feel good about, I guess, the foundation of the offense after Saturday, and this is more tweaks that need to be done?
Yeah, I have no problems with the offense. We didn't get it done on Saturday, and we're 2 weeks into the season with a lot of opportunity for growth.
When you're taking the blame and saying you need to do a better job putting them in position, you said this summer, that you needed to kind of open it up. Is that what you mean, or is it, hey, you got to find out what these guys do well?
Both. Yep, both. I opened it up and we turned the ball over too much. So that's on me. And maybe it was, it's on me. It's on me. I got to design it better. So there's plenty of opportunity for growth. Have no reservations about what we're doing on offense schematically. One bad game doesn't define who we are. So.
Coach, team-wise, what can we expect defensively from Abilene Christian?
Yeah, defensively, again, they're multiple. They played the first 2 games in a 4-down front with multiple coverage and pressure and line movement. But at Texas Tech, and there's a few flashes on film of their odd 3-safety defense, which we struggled against last week. So it's kind of figuring out which one they're going to come in here and try to do, which one they feel comfortable with.
You mentioned the quarterback who was
Yeah.
pretty solid player. What are some other players on that team that you guys are taking extra looks at, offense, defense?
Yeah, Maverick, their quarterback, again, 2-game starter. I think he does a really good job. Their running back is a good player. And then Kendall Catalon, which is the brother of the safety for the Razorbacks, is their wide receiver and punt returner, and he does an excellent job, very dangerous in the punt return game, which for us is something that, again, we've got to be better at. And so those are the 3 guys that really stand out to me in a positive way on film.
What are some things that you expect to see, maybe expect to learn from the team this week?
How we respond. We get to control our response. To whatever the event is, you get to control your response and create the outcome that you want. And you can either listen to the outside noise and the criticism and believe that and affect your mood and affect your mentality and affect your belief in your teammates, or you can continue on what you set out to do, which is to be a team. Circle up and continue that belief in each other, continue that belief in what we're building, and continue that belief in what we're trying to be for this season. Growth is not normally linear. It's normally all over the place. And whether or not we want it to be that way or not is not real life. The reality of it is, though, when you're in this profession, in this sport, the criticism and critiques are grander and it's louder, and you have to ignore it. Otherwise, you get caught up in that, and it affects your mental health and it affects your mental well-being, which is then going to result in affecting your performance. And it's nothing wrong. It's just this is a different thing that everybody in college football, in football in general, is dealing with. The amount of noise in social media, whether it's Friday night on high school games, Saturday on college games, or Sunday in NFL games, the amount of noise, half of those teams are getting drilled. And you have to figure out as a staff and as players how to insulate yourself from the criticism and still focus on what you control, which is your performance.
Give us an idea of how you tell kids to do that then, because they're 20 and they live on their phone.
Exactly. The only thing I can do is point it out. What we do with that is up to us, but you point it out. I've had a lot of messages directed at me. I have no idea. I haven't seen them. I refuse to let that stuff affect me right now, because the best that I can be for my team is to believe in my team, believe in myself, and believe in our staff. And I'm not going to let the outside noise affect us. We have a direction that we're going. Would we like to be there faster? Absolutely. Are we there yet? Nope. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there. And I have unwavering belief in that. Doesn't mean that we don't confront the realities of where we're at, which is a bad loss. But it happened. Now all we can control is the response that we have. And you can either believe in the negativity or believe in the positive that we have moving forward. And that's what I'm going to choose to believe.
Eli, special teams, where do you feel like you guys are making progress? Where are some concerns you have through 2 games?
Well, we're just not in sync with the distance that we're kicking the ball and the coverage that we have in our punt coverage. We had some inconsistencies in the distance of the punt. The first punt was a 28-yarder. We had another punt that we covered that was kicked nearly out of bounds, and then the other punt was we didn't get guys down. So we've got to do a better job of creating ways to get gunners free if we're going to continue to punt the ball that far. And we've got to be more consistent in changing up the landmark of our punt team. Our kickoff coverage, we kicked into the wind the first time. Sean made a great tackle. Our kickoff return game, we had one that almost got out. In our punt return, we didn't field the ball the way we need to, which caused a couple of, I think we lost about 55 yards from not fielding punts. And so we'll be looking to create competition in that position this week.
Coach, I noticed Xavier Delgado's on the depth sheet starting. What was the injury he had, and how's the progress looking now?
Yeah, so we will update the depth chart or the injury news on Thursday. That's when we have a better grasp. Our base rule is if you don't practice by Thursday, then you're ruled out for that game. He, tried to come back in, could not finish. Our training staff does an excellent job. They're working on that. So we'll know more on Thursday on that update.
Every team that plays an FCS team, the message is obviously any given Saturday, anything can happen. How do you know that your players receive that, or when do you find out if your players receive that message?
You find out today at 3:30 when you go to the practice field. How do we take the practice field? How do we prepare? We have a standard of how we prepare. We have a standard of performance, of how we want to prepare for every game. Don't take the opponent lightly. There's no difference between the number one team in the country or this team. There's only 12 guaranteed opportunities. And so that for us is our messaging. That's for us, again, it's a 1-0 mentality. And this is an opportunity for us to continue to embrace a 1-0 mentality. There's really no other football besides this game Saturday, period, for us.
Anything else for Coach?
Eli, it's probably
Yeah.
easy to forget that Luther's a freshman. We know that, probably don't do it any services by talking about him so much. But
True freshman, 2 games.
yeah, do you look at touches, his production, and expect more, or you have to remember he's freshman too, or how do you process that?
Yeah, I've got to balance the expectations of the external noise and the realities of what we need to put on him. And Luther's a competitor, and he is a good football player, and we certainly need to do a better job of creating touches for him. But we also need to limit the number of plays that he plays. He played 65 plays in that game, which is probably 25 too many. And we got to understand that sometimes play designs for an X receiver, they may take away the number one option, and that happened a couple of times. So it is a balancing act of a true freshman, second game of the year, expectations versus reality. Tremendous player, tremendous competitor, but we got a lot of people that can make plays. And I thought Dominic Levitt stepped up and made some big time plays for us. Made the one catch down the field that set up the second touchdown drive, or not second touchdown, second field goal. So there's more ways to spread it out. But we can be better at designing plays that he specifically gets the touch. We had the little end around play to him that created 6, and so maybe finding more of those would be good.
Everybody obviously wants the ball, but especially when you're a freshman, first time you've maybe been around guys that are on your level. I mean, have you had to talk to him about any frustration he's had? Not at the play calls, just just at not being more productive?
We're 2 weeks into the season. I'm not making any rash judgments 2 weeks into the season. I don't think any of our players are making any rash judgments 2 weeks into the season. I don't think there's trend lines drawn after 2 weeks into the season. So my job is not to overreact one way or the other. It's to see problems, face the brutal reality of where we're at, and find ways to fix it without flinching. So, no, he has not shown any signs of frustration.
Eli, you mentioned kind of insulating these guys from
Uh-huh.
social media and stuff.
Well,
Are they better at that, and maybe now than they may have been like players were 10 years ago, 5 years ago?
We didn't have social media 10 years ago, I don't think, did we? I mean, I didn't have Twitter till 2014. Facebook was invented in, I don't know. So, no, there's no such thing as insulate. Insulation is probably the wrong word. I think awareness is the right word. And whether that's awareness in life in general or awareness just for college athletics, for everyone's mental health, I think there's got to be a general awareness of the good and the bad of social media. And I mean, I saw a quote last week that our human brains are not capable of fathoming all the world's problems in real time. Think about that. We are not capable of fathoming all the world's problems in real time. And yet, we're capable of receiving all the criticism we possibly want instantly. People make mistakes. That's life. Mistakes are not defining moments, right? It's how you respond to mistakes, how you respond to things that are going to define the outcome of what you want. So that's, for me, the messaging. If you get caught up in the toxicity and the negativity, then it's going to affect the outcome that you want, because that's what you believe. There's an old saying, perception is reality. I don't know if I believe that. I believe if you believe perception is reality, it will become reality. Reality is where you're at in that moment, how you respond to it.
Do you have somebody or people in your program then that kind of specifically deal with mental health and stuff? I know some places.
Yeah, we do. We have several mental health counselors and do a good job of providing opportunities for that. I mean, it's very real. In college sports, you're seeing more and more people retire for those reasons.
How much more prevalent do you think it's become in the NIL era, where it kind of requires players almost to have an online presence?
So I was a head coach in 2019 for my first time. This is a completely different game than it was in 2019. All the way around. So, yeah, NIL, I don't know if it requires it, but is certainly elevated it. And now, instead of having, in the NFL model, you have one owner. Now in NIL, a lot more contributors.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, sir.
Yep, thank y'all. Appreciate you, men and women. See y'all out.